I'm going to go through the jazz pattern on the ride cymbal and the hi-hat, and I'm going to go through the shuffle patterns as well today. I'm not doing time signatures, the video will be too long, and time signatures is quite a tricky one. That'll be in another video. I'm Alex Biggs, this is Drum Bass Studios. Let's get into it. So in book 3, you've also come across jazz and shuffle rhythms. Shuffle rhythms are kind of now being written like this. So you can see it's a triplet, which is good because it sounds like you play it, where the older version is much easier to read, but it isn't quite correct, and I'll demonstrate why. But I've actually done mine in this way, in the old format, because it's just so much easier to read and understand. Another way you can write it is by just having 2/8 notes equals this, and you can see it's saying it's a triplet or swung, or it might even say swing quavers. But when you're learning, it's better to actually see it and understand it. So that's why I've written it the old-fashioned way. If you had a triplet, 1 and a 2 and a, so you want to take out the middle note, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So it's a nice smooth shuffle. Now if you played it as written, you'd end up with 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 a 2. That way, that's why you'll find that it's written more in the triplet way, but they're so hard to read, I find. It just really makes it complicated when you've got bass drums as triplets and snare drums. That's why I've gone the traditional route. Again, you're trying to help each other by the person writing the music wants to help the person playing the music so it's correct. So you don't want to overcomplicate it. When you're playing shuffle rhythms, let me take you through the degrees of shuffle. You can play straight and then I'll go to extreme shuffle. So if I just keep playing and then start to sort of gradually shuffle it a little bit and then make it a bit more abrupt. It's quite hard to do that without speeding up, but that's kind of the shuffle where the gauge would go on it. Just get it nice and smooth. It's how you want to play the shuffle because it needs to fit the track really, so don't worry too much how precise it is. This is a real just insight into jazz because it's such a huge umbrella of music. But just a quick tip, when you're doing the ride, when you're playing swing, you want to make sure the stick doesn't stop. You don't want to go, because jazz is swing, it's swung, so you want to keep the stick moving. So it just makes the jazz rhythm a bit smoother. The other thing is you normally put the hi-hat on 2 and 4. Again, you don't have to, you can put it where you like, but a lot of musicians like the 2 and the 4 because it's like having the snare, isn't it? So everyone knows where they are when the drummer's doing the hi-hat. But as I say, you don't have to do it. But if anyone says to you, can you play some jazz? Just literally play this. That's all you need to do. And then what normally happens is you might get a stab or where the band goes bap, so it's the one. Or more complicated stuff would be like, all depends on what the band's doing. Where basically if the trumpets or the horn section is going ba-da, bap, you kind of want to help them or lead them into that by doing ba-da, bap, do like a drum fill so that they know when to come in or help them along. So when you're playing the jazz, just a little tip here is you can go straight from the ride to the open hi-hat without changing. To play the swing, you can get straight onto the hi-hat without stopping. A little bit tricky, but it might help get this pattern correct. Talking of this pattern, what you have to be aware of is that you actually open the hi-hat on the skip note if you want to play how it's supposed to be played. As a beginner, don't worry too much, just practice opening that hi-hat. But for future reference, so it's not, it's actually, The hand, you can mute the cymbals, just in case they're ringing too much. Again, you might see some jazz drummers do that. But just remember that try and, if you can, get the one open, and that will make that hi-hat pattern sound good. If you can't, because it is a little bit advanced, just concentrate on getting the pattern swinging and sounding good. Thanks for watching. This is Drum Bass Studios. I'm Alex Biggs. I'll see you in the next one.